okay, HighLevel is actually lying to you about email deliverability. And I'm going to show you what the events from HighLevel actually look like with email stats. Now, unfortunately, these webhooks that they send me include user emails, so I can't actually share it. But what I can show you is the types that we're picking up. So we have a type of email stats, and that includes a location ID, some random information, and then our email message ID, which we can use to link back. Then we have an event opened, and we have other events like delivered, accepted. These don't really have any pertinence to what we're talking about. The open thing is really what we need to think about. So the way it works with email event tracking is basically the way you know if someone actually opened your email is you include a little 1 pixel by 1 pixel image in your email. And this isn't actually an image, it's a link to an image on another server. And so if you're sending 100,000 emails from HighLevel, that's actually generating 100,000 rows in a database with these links to these images. And the way it works is that when a user opens that email, it makes a request to that server and it says, hey, that image that you included in the email, you just gave us a link. Can you actually send the full image? And the beautiful thing about that is that you know which image is requested, and so you can send, yeah, great, here's that image, and by the way, now we know that you opened the email. This is brilliant. It's a brilliant workaround to figure out who opens the email, but there's a problem with it because what happens is we get things like bot, where basically it tells you who opened the email, and in a lot of cases, specifically with Gmail and with Apple Mail or like Apple, what they're doing is they're seeing your email come in and they're looking at it to preload that image for you to protect your privacy. So what that registers as is an opened event in HighLevel. So HighLevel basically categorizes the email as opened, which tells you like, wow, 90% open rate, I'm killing it. In reality, they're probably not actually getting opened because most of these have some suspicious markers, let's say. So in this case, we have client info gives, basically it's all unknown, and we have user agent equals Mozilla 5.0, and the bot is Apple. So basically, I guess Apple is telling us like, yeah, we're opening this for the user. And so this means it's probably a prefetch. Now we have another scenario where client info is known or unknown and there's no bot, but we can assume that this is probably also some sort of prefetch because we don't really know anything about it. But in this case, we also get the geolocation of where that was opened because it's opened on an actual like browser. It has to be able to parse JavaScript and HTML. And so we can actually get the location of where the email was opened. And this is where things can get a little complicated. So what you could do technically is you could look at this address. This address here is either a server farm in Colorado that, Apple or Google is renting out, or they built themselves maybe. That's besides the point. But this is either a server farm that opened your email, or it's the location of the user and we just don't have client info. So what you can do, what I'm thinking about doing, is making it so that when we get an email opened event, we check the address of the contact. If there's no address for the contact, we check the address of the location. And if that doesn't match, then we check if that location, somehow we need to figure out like, okay, does this location, is it remote basically? Do they serve customers, nationwide or worldwide? Or are they focused in one area? In which case, we can't really know if they're, if this is an actual contact. But, for example, if this is a company in Colorado, that might be unfortunate because the server farm's in Colorado. But if this is a company in Colorado and we see that, hey, the contact is based in Colorado, and so when this email is opened, we can know that like, oh, this contact is also in Colorado, so it was probably actually opened by the contact. Now, yeah, here's another example where the server farm probably is in Toronto. The issue is that typically with Gmail and Apple, especially because these images are tiny 1 pixel by 1 pixel images, they actually cache it on their servers, which means if you're looking at your Apple mail, basically it's mail that came in through Gmail that went to Apple, and then Apple saved it on their servers to show to you. So that means when you open the email, it's not actually fetching our little pixel image from your server and being able to tell you like this email is opened. They already retrieved it from a server farm, and so you don't know when the customer actually opens it, which is Apple protecting privacy of their users, and Gmail also does this. And so because of that, you actually can't really get accurate open tracking. The only scenarios where you can get it are where their email server does not prefetch, which is pretty rare. Everyone basically uses Gmail. I mean, it's basically ubiquitous, and I'm sure fucking Bing or whatever, Microsoft and Yahoo also prefetch and cache. And so you can't really get accurate open data. That's basically the problem. Apart from that one workaround where we look at the address of where the email was opened and compare it to the contact's address or the business's address to see if that's a potential real user. And here is a very concrete example of this. We can see for client info, the client name is Gmail Image Proxy, which is literally telling you this is a proxy where Gmail preloads the image for their users to proxy the request. Now we actually have a pretty interesting one here where the client name is Chrome, the OS is Windows, it's a browser on desktop, and we have a geolocation. So this actually looks, ChatGPT, says it looks like a real user, which I have to say I agree here. And so this could actually be categorized as an opened email, but it is rare where we actually have a very positive, case that this is a user. So, yeah. Anyways, that's how a lot of a lot of CRMs do this, where they just basically report back, yes, someone opened this email, but it's not actually the user opening it. So if you go, wow, everyone's opening this, but no, not replying, I need better copy. You probably just need a better subject line to actually get it to be actually opened, because odds are it's not actually being opened. So anyways, that's my video. I think for this will actually show up in the dashboard as opened, and then anything else. And so when I say show in the dashboard, it's going to show here for touch summary, and then if they open it, it'll actually show in the engagement summary as email opened. But we're going to make sure this is a very positive, so that we don't get any like false positives. Because, yeah, I just think those are like, it's better to have no false positives than to have like too many. Better to have no false positives than some false negatives. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to use like double negatives here, but anyways, yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, this app is called Streamlined. It plugs directly in the HighLevel, gives you client accountability or sales rep accountability, sales enablement, so AI automations for speeding up your pipeline, and then also in-depth funnel analytics, especially mid-funnel, so between marketing and the actual conversion using AI. So that's the pitch. Click the link below, and I will see you in the next video.